Nigerians, so the DSS don't arrest Bosnia Youth President Ismaila Ibrahim Kaigama. They arrested him yesterday. Bosnia, so they arrested him yesterday after he go channel television, go make some kind of revelation there. So they can't come in house yesterday. You know the story.
In anything you see insecurity, state government are the ones orchestrating and making money out of this whole insecurity stuff. Now, when those monies was almost paid, the mediations, they received ransoms. Now, later, they complained to me that the ransom they received was 1.9 billion, whilst 5 billion was released. Where is the 3 billion 100 million, specifically? Who was the mediator sent in? They said it was...
Then the middlemen, which are politicians, they scam the money government released for the bandits, and bandits knows how much the government approve for them. If I say the bandit money they do inside budget, so when things like this, if not, where are they getting the money to pay the bandits? Billions. Where are government getting the money? Where in the budget? Is it that they have budget estimated for this year physical policies, made for banditry and kidnapping?
Mr. President, if they vote you order you say, well, we had that you are supposed to say you are not a Jonathan. If they vote you, you will say no. This will 2027 you will see it. One will vote you out, say you will not go, make we see. You will go. If they vote you out, you.
The North that gave him 60% are very angry. They are not. They are suffering. He has kept them. He has abandoned them to insecurity. He has not even visited them to tell them thank you or visit them to console them for the loss of life.
Okay, now update is that the government is paying for the release of the captives. There is nothing like rescue, and the worst part of it is that they pay. Then the middlemen, which are politicians, they scam the money government released for the bandits, and bandits knows how much the government approve for them. If I say the bandit money they do inside budget, so when things like this, if not, where are they getting the money to pay the bandits? Billions. Where are government getting the money? Where in the budget? Is it that they have budget estimated for this year physical policies, made for banditry and kidnapping, allocated for banditry and kidnapping? If not, where are they getting billions to pay these people? Let me tell you, if our Nigeria government is like maybe countries like Ethiopia or Israel, or countries that work hard to get their money, so is that how they will be allocating the money to kidnappers and bandits all over Nigeria, encouraging these people to acquire more weapons? Well, let's start with this update. They say the SS has arrested this guy that exposed this thing in national television. Let's watch this interview.
Nigerians, so the DSS don't arrest Bosnia Youth President Ismaila Ibrahim Kaigama. They arrested him yesterday. Bosnia, the Borno South Youth Alliance, and the president be Ismaila Ibrahim Kaigama. So they arrested him yesterday after he go channel television, go make some kind of revelation there. So they can't come in house yesterday. You know the story. If they hide them, the English Alhaji go they bring them out. The federal government of bandit media no go tell them these things. But like I always tell you, I got your back. As they hide them, Alhaji go bring them out. So they come there, go fetch them, carry and go. They say we no go see them. We don't see them. So I say I can't tell now. So now they find this guy, he did with DSS. They came to his house around 3:40. That is 20 minutes to 4. 20 minutes to 4. Yesterday's day, the 22nd of July, 2026. They come there with 2 healers. And then also DSS put the healers. They carry arms, say they carry and go for interrogation and an investigation. I don't know. So say for this video, this guy makes so many revelation. According to him, for this video, for this channel television where he go, he say the government pay Boko Haram 5 billion for the release of those Borno children. Remember those children where army release that and say they don't release 300 and something children where they say they don't rescue. So this guy say the government paid 5 billion for those children. But the Boko Haram only received 1.9 billion. Nine make they not release all the children. They released only 300 and something. 369. Now they release instead to release all of them. Because the money where they come, the Boko Haram hand now 1.9 billion instead of 5 billion. According to him, he say the mediator between Boko Haram and the government na Ali Ndume. Now the thing they everywhere. You dey for channel television. It's not Ali Ndume. So the government pay Ali Ndume 5 billion to give them. This is what he said. So he can't also say now where the 3.1 billion come dey? Because the Boko Haram call him say broski, we agreed 5 billion. This would send only 1.9 billion. So they're not going to release the whole children. They release only 369. So in they ask where the remaining 3.1 billion. So after I make this kind statement for that, you know, say, channel television pick well. So DSS don't go pick them. May they go ask them so questions on top of that. Make I leave and make a watch the video again on that particular statement we him make. Now the video be this. You could watch.
Let me quote and make it clear: ransoms was paid. Keep it aside. We know that. Yes, of course. Okay. Ransoms was paid in billions. How much? Around 5 billion was released.
By who?
Well, you want to call it the federal or state government, but ransoms were released. Now, those ransoms...
Was it by the federal government or by the state government?
You could put it as state government, federal government collaboration, because if there is a lot of outcry from the people, bring our people, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sorry to say, I'm not a political supporter or anything of anybody, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is innocent. In anything you see insecurity, state government are the ones orchestrating and making money out of this whole insecurity stuff. Now, when those monies was almost paid, as Senator Ali Dume, I quote and I quote again, as Senator Ali Dume, according to what they told me, and I have evidence to back that, they said there is a media person that calls himself a media person, a second mediator. He is them Senator Ali Dume and government person. They told us to communicate with him. It is only through him that monies will be paid. Monies will not be paid through anybody because he is their in-house mediator. Do you get what I'm saying? If terrorists are able to tell you that there is an in-house mediator for government, that monies will be paid only through him, what happens next? I told them, look, go ahead, do the mediations with him, release our people, that is all I want. They said it is fine. Normally we don't cross who we started with, but we will do it since you decide you are fine with it. They went ahead, they made the mediations, they received ransoms. Now later, they complained to me that the ransom they received was 1.9 billion, whilst 5 billion was released. Where is the 3 billion 100 million? Specifically, who was the mediator sent in? They said it was a Senator Ali Dume mediator. So where are the monies? I have been speaking about this for a long time. You don't see DSS bringing in, okay, let's bring in these people. Let's see, let's investigate, let's get facts together. You don't see NSA saying anything. At a specific point, I try reaching Nuhu Ribadu. In every aspect, he says my call, he does not pick. Because at a specific time when the conversation started, I got his number through the same Senator Ali Dume, but when mediations and all the process was on and set, monies was about to be paid, the conversation just cut all of a sudden.
All right, you've seen it, and is it that this money are being misappropriated? Is it money meant for another thing that they are using to pay bandits, or what? I'm still asking, I'm curious, so if you know the answer, you tell me, so that we will know what we are doing in this country, where there is strong indications that people, some, major aspect of Nigerians say that they are not voting this government again, that they have seen shege in the hands of this government. And from what the guy is saying, there is no pathway for victory for the present government. Well, let's hear him first, then we are coming back to proceed.
But I'm so happy now that Tinubu has no path to the presidency. In the next 2027 election, he has no path to victory. Yeah, it is something that, people who I do strategy will tell you, don't come to the TV and say it. Don't come to public square. Where's the part of presidency? The North that gave him 60% are very angry. They're suffering. He has kept them, he has abandoned them to insecurity. He has not even visited them to tell them thank you or visit them to console them for the loss of life. The North is very angry. They call the North, the extreme from Katsina, Sokoto, they're angry. So where is he going to get vote from?
Mr. President, if they vote you order, you say, well, we had that you have supposed to say you are not a Jonathan. If they vote you, you will say no. This will, 2027, you will see it. One will vote you out, don't say you will not go, make we see. You will go. If they vote you out, you will go. If you win, you win. We know how you can win. You cannot win, we will not pray. Me, Gololo, I don't pray for God, make you win. If I want pray, make I die. I know what make you win. Because I vote you, I work for you, and I see how you take us from the north. So, north and east and south, we will present our vote to the spirit candidate that can flog you hands down. We don't need it. Even the south was no vote. Man, it's not only 6 states. Kano and Kaduna covered the whole of their vote. So we are going for one candidate now. The east and south are not. We are grouping and we are campaigning, and they have understand where we are going. That is where we are going, Oga. And if you vote, you say you are not going, I'll make you see. They vote. If you know they vote, you come out. You win election, and that's why you be a president. And then the win, you say you are not a Jonathan, you can't go. You will go if you lose, Oga. You will go. You don't pass. Everybody have his own right to speak. You will go. Human right. If somebody talk, you will arrest him. You charge him to court. You give him terrorists. Anybody talk about the government are terrorists. If you not talk, now good man. Oga, please, this is democrat. As you say, you are the one who fights soldier. Is that how you fight the soldier? You fight the soldier to bring democrat, but you come as a monarch. You come as a detector. You want to use one party system. It can't work. Even if you destroy PDP, you destroy NPP, you destroy Labour, there's another party. We can carry any party. But I'm still in APC. Tulwala here say they give you ticket. That day, I drove from the motor. From there, because I will not vote you. And we will campaign against you till we see say that 2027, you go. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Well, he has said it, no path to victory, but the other time I showed you updates that elections are not determined by your vote. According to Odinkalu. That is the judiciary, the judges that decides who wins the election. Nigeria na cruise. Kai! Eh? So now so the thing be us rich. Everything is about grabbing, grab and run. Well, if you want to know the update concerning kidnapping cases in Nigeria, a House member, a senator in particular, made a case in that regards. What is really going on in Nigeria? Let's have a look of the figures that he has.
We have recorded about 1,700 pupils abducted. And I also know that there's a safe school initiative established by the government. My question is it working or is it not working? Mr. President, we had 276 in Chibok, 110 in Dapchi, Yobe State, 344 boys in Kankara, Katsina, 80 in Katsina again, and I can name them up until Orire in Oyo State that have 39 students abducted. In a total, 1,700 pupils abducted from the time of Goodluck Jonathan till today.
All right, that is the Nigerian figure of kidnapping. And that's why they are doling out money now to politicize it, that this one was released, this other one was released. All this while, nobody did anything. But now they've started allocating money according to the information that is being circulated to release these people. Hey, Niger, but let me tell you, that we keep telling these people that Igbo man no get time for, all this kind of wuru-wuru politics that they are doing. Yes, Igbo people, if any Igbo man is doing this thing, he learnt it. Igbos goes to action. They go for the best. They always want to be among the best. That is what Igbo man is known for, if you don't know. Well, they say Igbos are the true, Nigerians, and you've done debate that. The way Igbos scatter everywhere, living peacefully, they never encroach on anybody's land. Anything they want, they work hard for it and get it genuinely. Rather, it is Nigerians that have been dealing with Igbos, demolishing their hard-earned money, property that they built, and the ones that they took over. And it doesn't deter the Igbo man from working hard. I beg, one buzzer for Igbos for being the real Nigerians that we have. Well, let's have a good look at this. When we come back, I'm going to show you something.
Igbos are one of the tribes that believe in one Nigeria. They will never come to your land and claim to be an indigene of your land. Wherever it is they acquire your land, they acquire it legitimately. They don't claim indigenship because they have roots. Listen to the Igbo person. Yet, you all say Igbo man is your problem. But thank God, breeze have blown and we are seeing Fawus ass. Listen. Now you know who your enemies are. Igbo man is never your enemy. He believes in developing every economy he finds himself. Tali Takum.
Not indigenous, we are Plateau people. I'm a Plateau man, but not indigenous. I will not answer Pam. I will answer Eze. Yes. I am not indigenous. I am Plateau man. Some of us were born here. We are not indigenous.
Yes, that is the true Igbo man. You will say that, some will say, is the effect of this civil war. It is not. Igbos have been like this even before the civil war. That's why they've been fighting Igbos everywhere they are. At a point, Igbos say, no, we can't continue to be dying like this. Let's go our way. And that same fight is still up to date. Well, if you don't know the current happenings in Nigeria, I'm going to open your eyes to these recent events happening in Nigeria. Let's go.
Ayo, like we said, we'll start off this morning with a talk on security. And that's because yesterday, troops of Sector 4 Operation Hadinkai, have been carrying out this counter-terrorism attacks across the Northeast Theater, apprehended another foreign terrorist fighter and an alleged illegal immigrant during the security operation in Lassa, Dile general area of Askira Uba, local government area of Borno State. Now, this statement has brought to our minds how much has been going on in Borno State. So let's take a look back. In January, 4th of January, ISWAP detonated an IED near Damasak, killing at least 89 soldiers and injuring several others. Still in that January, on the 20th, a military patrol near Damasak was attacked, killing a major general and several soldiers. The 29th to the 30th of January, insurgents attacked Sabongeri in Dambua local government area, killing at least 25 civilians before overrunning a nearby military base where 11 security personnel were killed. So the total fatalities at that was at least 36. The next month, February, coordinated attacks targeting military formations across Borno. The military at the time said the assaults were repelled, but confirmed that casualties among troops without releasing an official death toll. The next month, March, all in this year, airstrikes followed an attempted attack on a military base in Ngoshe, with the military reporting over 50 insurgents killed. 9th of March, ISWAP attacked a military base in Kukawa, killing a commanding officer, 3 soldiers, and a local hunter. Still in March, on the 10th of March to be precise, another military base in Dorumbaga came under attack, but troops had repelled that particular assault. Still in March 13th, troops supported by the Nigerian Air Force repelled an attack on a military base in Banki. On the 16th of March, triple suicide bombings at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. Monday Market and the post office killed at least 23 to 27 people and injured more than 100. Still in March, on the 18th, troops fought an attack in Malam Fatori, killing at least 61 insurgents, according to the military. To round up March, between the 30th and the 31st, ISWAP executed 27 civilians near Mafa, and we're still going. In April, the 9th of April, ISWAP attacked the Beni Sheikh military base, killing a brigadier general and several soldiers. 13th of April, militants attacked troops in Mongono, killing a colonel and 6 soldiers. Then in May, although no major mass casualty attack dominated the month, security forces continued their counterinsurgency operations, and it has been a very interesting one. Then in June, armed men attacked Lassa Day Secondary School in Askira Uba during examinations, killing at least 1 teacher, abducted 36 students and staff. Several victims were later rescued. Others remain in captivity. Then this month, July, 7th of July, ISWAP also attacked the Logomani Forward Operating Base in Ngala local government area, killed 1 soldier before the troops repelled the assault and inflicted casualties on the attackers. 10th of July, troops repelled multiple ISWAP infiltration attempts around Maiduguri, preventing further attacks. And then this particular story from July the 20th, where we are hearing that the Sector 4 operation had in Kai had, repelled and actually captured this foreign terrorist fighter, apprehended him at this alleged illegal immigrant during the security operation in Lassa Dile general area of Askira Uba. So we need to get an idea of what's really going on in Maiduguri and how the citizens are handling the situation. We have in the studio with us the president of Borno South Youth Alliance, Bosia, they call themselves, founder and head operation Silhu Dazaman Lafia. His name is Mr. Samaila Ibrahim Kaigama. Thank you so much for being with us on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, so talk to us about Borno. What is going on, and how are you people surviving? We just try to give people an idea of what Borno is what's happening in Borno from January up until yesterday.
Yes.
How are you people surviving this situation, and is there some kind of confidence in the work that the military is doing in Borno?
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, the whole thing is a bit complicated, I would say.
Yeah.
The military are doing everything they can. In fact, especially the ones in the forefront fighting, they are doing the best they can. If you see, it's been years since they've been fighting against terrorism, and all sorts of in Borno State and everything. I think without the military by now, that state would have been overrun. So I'd say they are doing a good job, but at the end of the tunnel of whatever they are doing, there is still a lot of political games being played.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, of course. You see some of these attacks, these are politically motivated attacks. Now let me put it very clear to Nigerians, because normally when I come on live or anywhere, they know what happens. I get to put out whatever. Now you look at these attacks happening from the period they started. It started around the political, in fact, campaign period, preparations for elections and all that. Now, the women of the Goshe, that is the 416 women and children. They were what? They were, at a specific point, you see the media talking about they were rescued, they were this, they were that. We did the mediations. I spoke to those people. I put those people into a position whereby they had to make a demand. Because initially they had no plans of releasing those people.
You spoke to the terrorists?
Of course, I was the one who made all the process. The video you saw online, I was the one who directed them to get that video for us. Okay. It took me around 2 to 3 weeks communicating with them until I got to the top, end of wherever I was supposed to reach. We had those discussions. They agreed to make the video proof of life. One thing Nigerians don't know, they made a first video. The first video was not good enough. I had to still tell them to make another, which kind of brought some, and all that, but it was settled. At the end of the day, they made the second video and the world got to see. So now, when the whole process came to a specific point, when the mediations came to a point whereby monies were to be paid, let me quote and make it clear, ransoms was paid. Keep it aside, we know that. Yes, of course. Okay. Ransoms was paid in billions. How much? Around 5 billion was released.
By who?
Well, you want to call it the federal or state government, but ransoms were released. Now, those ransoms...
Was it by the federal government or by the state government?
You could put it as state government, federal government collaboration, because if there is a lot of outcry from the people, bring our people, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sorry to say, I'm not a political supporter or anything of anybody, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is innocent. In anything you see insecurity, state government are the ones orchestrating and making money out of this whole insecurity stuff. Now, when those monies was almost paid, Senator Ali Dume, I quote and I quote again, Senator Ali Dume, according to what they told me, and I have evidence to back that, they said there is a media person that calls himself a media person, a second mediator. He is them Senator Ali Dume, and government person. They told us to communicate with him. It is only through him that monies will be paid. Monies will not be paid through anybody because he is their in-house mediator. Do you get what I'm saying? If terrorists are able to tell you that there is an in-house mediator for government that monies will be paid only through him. What happens next? I told them, look, go ahead, do the mediations with him, release our people. That is all I want. They said it is fine. Normally, we don't cross who we started with, but we will do it since you decide you are fine with it. They went ahead, they made the mediations, they received ransoms. Now, later, they complained to me that the ransom they received was 1.9 billion, whilst 5 billion was released. Where is the 3 billion 100 million, specifically? Who was the mediator sent in? They said it was a Senator Alidume mediator. So where are the monies? I have been speaking about this for a long time. You don't see DSS bringing in, okay, let's bring in these people. Let's see, let's investigate, let's get facts together. You don't see NSA saying anything. At a specific point, I try reaching Nuhu Ribadu. In every aspect, he says my call, he does not pick. Because at a specific time when the conversation started, I got his number through the same Senator Alidume. But when mediations and all the process was on and set, monies was about to be paid, the conversation just cut all of a sudden. Then later, they now told me, because they tell me certain things. They told me, look, they sent in a different mediator. They said monies can only be paid through him. You know? So where are the rest of the money? So when we said literally state government is complicit, I don't know about federal, but I know of state. And presently, the children in Musa that were kidnapped, I started another mediation with ISWAP. One of their people now confirmed to me that the Borno state government said, are they in mediations with Borno South Youth Alliance or Bosia President or anything? If they are, they should not, that they have who they would run their whole thing with and everything. All of a sudden, Borno state government commissioner at a forum played a video, a 9 seconds or is it 18 seconds video of the children being held by ISWAP. Where did he get the video? All of a sudden, Borno state government don't do things like this. Now, because we came into a mediation and we're exposing certain facts about monies being paid to certain people, all of a sudden, they now start talking to some of these cells that don't talk to these people. At the end, we have our own in-person. Now, we played something psychologically. We did that because we wanted to what? We wanted to trigger the state government to go in first before us, which they later bite to the bait. And now you have a commissioner playing video of the people that were kidnapped. And we already said they are literally involved. They keep extorting the federal government, Now Tinubu is there sitting. They bring problems to him. Our state, they've kidnapped, they've done this. What do they want? How do I solve this problem? They said they want 5 billion, they want this. What has the military done? The military has tried, but they will kill and all that and everything. Then Tinubu goes like, okay, it's fine. What do we do? Let us solve this problem. Then he releases funds. State government gets her own. Some of the political powers in the state get her own. Then what? The terrorists get a cut of it. 5 billion. Imagine them getting 1.9 billion. This is something they told me, and we have everything evidently. There is nothing to hide here. And we are tired. That is why we are speaking out now.
You said, I don't know.
Yes.
You said so many things.
Yes.
And I've just been listening to you.
Beautiful.
First of all, you've accused Ali Ndume of being the mediator with...
He sent in, the state government sent in together with a mediator from Senator Alidume. They confirmed it to us.
Then you're also accusing the president of being complicit in the sense that he releases money. Hold on.
Yes, go ahead.
You're accusing the president of being complicit in this because he's releasing money to give terrorists, despite the fact that we are constantly being told that we do not negotiate with terrorists,
Yes.
we're not paying money.
Yes.
You're saying the president used to release the money.
You do not negotiate with terrorists. How do you think some of these processes are being done?
We thought that the military was destroying the bases and rescuing...
For the Goshe? Military, there is nothing. We all know. They know, we know, and we all know. We all know there was no rescue. There is evidences to all this.
These accusations, can you defend yourself? When
I can defend it to anywhere. Anywhere. I have been waiting for them to come up, especially Dume. I have been waiting for him to come up to say, it's a lie, it's not this. Then we have been dropping a lot of evidences. They have been paying a lot of media houses to block whatever we're doing for it not to go out. We've been dropping evidences. People said, in fact, he paid a specific group of old people to come out and say they are debunking, they are doing this. These are his in-house old people. We all know from Borno State.
Who are you talking about, Ali Ndume?
Yes, of course. He paid Goshe stakeholders something to come and say Borno South Youth Alliance, this and that and this, that they did not do this. They blocked some of the people they literally rescued. They told them, keep quiet. Do not say Borno South Youth Alliance helped or, in fact, mediated in any way. Do you know what we did next? I released a voice note conversation of myself with one of the terrorists. Yes, one of the commanders.
How do you know these terrorists?
It's a complicated process. I have been fighting for my grassroots for a long time. I believe in fighting for the common man. And I've been doing that. In fact, when I reached out to them to begin mediations, they knew me already. They were like, oh, yeah, we know of this your organization, Bosia, yes? You people have been fighting for your people and all that, So it became very easy. Now, another thing you should know is some of these villagers, they know these people. So if they trust you and they know this is somebody fighting for us, if there is a problem, they could get you whoever contact you want to get.
Are these terrorists, are they part of the community or are they outsiders? Is this?
They are part of the community. Some of them are outsiders. It's a mixed situation.
Mixed situation.
Yes, definitely it's a mixed situation. So with that being said, you look at this. So when you say we are accusing, we are doing this and that, I did not accuse. The terrorists said it with their own lips, and I have everything to back it up.
Samila,
yes.
When you go to meet these terrorists, have you ever told them not to be terrorizing?
There are specific things that you get to hear from some of them.
Have you ever told them, leave our people alone?
I do that, of course. Now let me ask you, did you see the Oyo people problem when it came? Do you know they executed somebody, they beheaded somebody?
Yes, we watched.
Do you know at a specific time they lined up around 15 to 25 women and children? They video called me, they were about to slaughter them off. Because the government was not cooperating fast. They needed, let the money come in fast. What are they? They told me, look, you know something, you are too lenient and your ways are too, and we understand. Allow us to kill 15 to 25 on video. Let us slaughter and keep the heads beside. When we do that, you will see our government, they will start calling you on phone. They will start calling you by themselves. I said, please.
Do you support, yes. do you agree with this?
I don't agree with anything. I don't like bloodshed. If I wanted or I like bloodshed in any way and I wanted money out of bloodshed, when ransoms was paid, I was asked if I needed something. And I said, no, I don't need that. And if anybody wants to
that's going to be my next question. Are you getting a percentage when these payments are made?
When that happened, I was asked, if you want something, so what do we do next? When the whole process was done, they later discovered, in fact, the other mediator cut them off very well and all. When ransoms was paid, we communicated, and they told me, do you need anything? Okay, what should be done now? I told them, look, I don't need money. And I have evidence to back that up.
Samala, when we are looking at insecurity as a country, all of us, we're looking at it. We're hoping that one day it will end.
Yes.
We're hoping that these terrorists will leave us alone. Let's have peace. Let the kidnapping stop.
Yes.
Is that something that you see happening?
Yeah, well, in a specific aspect. The reason why I started Operation Sulhu de YangaLife here, that is OSL, we wanted to stand in or be the gap between the local population and those people attacking them. We wanted to boycott their sponsors, and all. We wanted to be those people that can speak light and speak sense into them, whereby if there is an attack, we can ask. And we established that. And these few days, we had some conversations. They agreed that, look, if OSL is going to come in, we will be willing to have some discussions. I asked them clearly, I said, look, can we stop all this? He could not answer me because he is not whoever is in command. A few minutes later, he answered, look, we cannot fully stop whatever is happening because we are doing the work of God. But we can what? We can have some understandings. I said, look, my locality and our people, our zone, our 9 local governments is my problem. If I'm able to broker a deal with the government under OSL, will you people listen? They said, but we're already doing things with you. If it comes through you, we are willing to listen. Because already, now let me expose something to Nigerians. I don't care what goes down. Do you know presently, Boko Haram have not made any attacks since the release of the Goshe women. They have not done one attack. And it's confirmed and it's well confirmed. They all of them, they know. I know, but I'm not part of the system. So I need to speak out for my people because that is what brought me here now. You get? So presently, out of the conversations we had, I told them, look, there is something I'm trying to do, OSL, Operation Sulhu de YangaLife here. You know how I carried out the whole discussions between me and you people with the Goshe women? They said, yes, and we are happy with it. We don't have a problem with you. I said, fine. You know, I went the truth and everything. What you people needed was what I said. Whatever the process finished and whatever monies you people received, I did not collect a penny and I don't want a penny. Whoever you did your negotiations with were the ones who did whatever. They said, yes, we don't have a problem. I said, fine. This Sulhu de YangaLife here, I want us to have something. We will ask you people to probably lay down your arms for 2 months, 3 months. Then from there, we see where it goes. You know, we want our farmers to be able to go to farms and farm. We want our people to be able to go to the bushes and fetch firewood.
What did they say?
They told me, yes, it's fine, we can work that. But do you know presently we are having that with the government already? Yes, presently, us and the government, through their mediator, we have a 40-day ceasefire program between us. So for now, we are on break. So Boko Haram is in mid-time break right now. Let me put it. Sorry, Nigerians, it is sad, but they are on mid-time break.
My colleague, Ayo.
Yes.
He has a few questions.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Ayo.
Well, thank you, Kayla. It's very interesting to listen to some of the things that you have said. And I'm just wondering, if you have all this information, you have all these relationships, I'm wondering where you think the place of security agencies is in all of this. Because governors have said it over and over again, that these terrorists are not ghosts, they are not spirits, they are human beings. They have said repeatedly that we know these people. And you are confirming it now that these people are known. Now, if you know and have all of this information, when is it all going to come to an end? Because from the information coming up from even the Borno state government, they are saying that insecurity is going to reverse the successes that the state has scored in education. And you're saying now that insecurity is not looking like it is going to end. So wouldn't it be, those who are listening to you now will wonder why you are not giving all of this intelligence information to security agencies so that all of this nonsense can stop once and for all?
All right. Thank you very much for your question, I think, Ella. Look, let me just make things very clear. I like going straight to the point. I don't have anything to hide. Reality is here. Now, you said the state government said something about reversing their policies and all that. Who were the ones who negotiated with them? Who received those ransoms and cut out part of those ransoms and all? The security agencies are doing their best, but we have state politicians doing everything possible to make sure they make business out of it. You know, and all. Now, talking about we know some of these people give security agencies, let me make something clear to Nigerians. Senator Ali Dume has been blocking me from talking to everybody, NSA, DSS, early times before there was even a video. I communicated with him. He blocked me from talking to Nuhu Ribadu. He blocked me from communicating with Nigerian army. Do you want me to go to them? I am an independent individual and I run an organization. The government is supposed to come to me if they need anything like that. I started Operation Sulhu de Zaman Lafia. Borno state government and Senator Ali Dume are doing everything possible to block it from coming to to reality. If a federal government wanted to get the truth, they cannot be working through the state government directly. They should in fact bring in private individuals that can give them a parallel report, then they investigate. If not, the business would want to continue. Now Boko Haram is on 40 days break. If they want to argue, let them argue. Then I will release an evidence to that. They know and I know. There's nothing to hide. So if they're on 40 days break, people will feel like, oh wow, some people are working, something is happening. But if they are able to mediate and tell them to hold on for 40 days, to hold on for 30 days, then continue, then who do you think should be investigated? The state government. Why do you think Makinde is asking for an external investigation? I asked for an external investigation. I have been shouting. They've been paying the media to block the voice. Why do you think I'm asking that for? Because we want this to end. Why do you think I started OSL? Because I want this to end. Why do you think I come on live TV speaking this way when there are a lot of people that this would affect their businesses and they might want to come after you and all, which we don't care. We are ready for whatever. It's because we want this to end, my brother. We want some of these things to end, then we want to communicate. We want to bring some things to the table.
Okay.
Guns have been used for a very long time. Bombs have been used for a very long time. We have seen where the process went. If we have people that can come into the picture in the grassroots level, speak to these people and get things happening. In fact, the release of these people, there was zero casualty. Understand it was because of strict mediations and concentration on the mediation. If I release some of the voice notes of me pleading with them, you would understand that, wow, this was a lot of work being done. So if we have something like what we brought on table, but the state government is blocking it from the federal government, coming into the whole initiative and in fact, putting it in place to end this, who do you think is complicit to all this?
It is not news, if you can hear me, sir. It is not news that
Go ahead.
the states, Nigeria has cooperated with civilians before. After all, there was a time in this country we had the Civilian Joint Task Force. So the intervention of civilians is well recorded in our history, documented in our history. Now, I don't see how anyone really, listening to all the things that you have said and all the things that you've been doing, I don't see how any politician can stop you, because here you are. If anyone was trying to stop you, there is no way they would have been able to stop you. They would have been able to stop you from coming on TV, on channels television in particular. But here you are. So I do not see anyone being able to stop you. Now that you are getting this opportunity, what are your expectations? I hear you say that the federal government should come to you. Yes, that could happen. But how about you also make the overtures? Because, as you said, your objective is for the sufferings of your people to end. If the mountain will not go to the Muhammad, let Muhammad go to the mountain. The objective is what you have said. Let the sufferings of the people end. If you know these terrorists, as you have said, it is a patriotic thing for you to, whether you're going to write, whatever it is you're going to do, send some evidence to security agencies, to the military, to the police, to whoever, and say, this information I have, and I think we can put all these people to bed, all this situation to bed once and for all.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. You spoke of civilian JTF presently. Yes, they are doing good. They are civilians. These are civilians with guns. They can go into the bushes and fight each other. They don't look each other eye to eye. You cannot even have a communications between them. You know, there was a specific situation whereby they had a fight between themselves and all. They just sent me a video randomly, and I opened and I saw they beheaded some civilian JTFs. You see? So, do you see me having a gun now fighting? No, I don't have a gun. My weapon is my words and what? Psychological understanding of my grassroots. You know? And this is the reason why we feel the government needs to what? Come into whatever we have in place. We were able to mediate for the release of the Goshe women. There was no casualty. The one in Oyo, there were casualties. We did something big. This is, in fact, quote unquote, the biggest, in fact, non-casualty release of any kidnapped victims or individuals in Africa, I would say. It's 300 plus that were released, you know, and all those things. So if you are telling me to go to the government, what if Mohammed being in the mountain, have some people around it protecting it with gun? How do you go there? You can't go there. The government is large. The government is seeing me. They know what I'm doing. The security agencies know what I'm doing. They've seen it. In fact, they know it. So if they were to see, look, this guy has an OSL, and he says, okay, something like this can happen. Why don't we go on a 3-month trial? Then we go on a 3-month trial, then we see where it goes. But because certain people know, if we are to come into the picture, we are not going to favor anybody. We just want an end to this. So if you're complicit to that, we will work towards making sure, in fact, we submit your name in our report for the first month. This person, this person, this person, that person. Just as I spoke on TV now, this was what they told me. We are not lying. Okay, this person that, in fact, sent his own person for the ransoms and all that, this was what they said, this was what they said and all. So, you know, we cannot go to the government normally when something from the state is coming, the state government will take it to the federal government. But when the state government is trying to block certain things, then understand there is something they are hiding. Now, the federal government is left to what? Set up its own panel of what? Private people that would investigate, private bodies and all. Something like what we have OSL, then we give them whatever they need. That is the reality.
Okay. Well, I remember, and I would like you to speak to this and see what is possible today, not tomorrow, today. I've heard time and again that the chief of, the Minister of Defense, at the time that he was Chief of Defense Staff, saying, look, the military can only do as much. And you have also said that the military, the security agencies are doing their best. They're doing a lot of things, but they have their limitations. They need the support of not just the people, but that of the political class. And you are already speaking to what the political class can do. Now, you are a civilian, as you have said. And the security agencies are saying, we can't do this alone. We need the cooperation of civilians. How do you think you can come in to provide some of this support to security agencies now? Because the president already made it clear, this insecurity has to end. So if it is going to end, and you have said, you have vindicated the president in a number of ways, how would you want to support or encourage, assist in ensuring that all of this insecurity, fabricated insecurity, because that's essentially what you're saying, can be put to an end? How can you help security agencies with the relevant information that they need today?
Thank you very much for this beautiful question. Look, myself, being the president of Borno South Youth Alliance, on also Operation Sulhu de Zaman Lafiya, OSL, we are ready to what? To work with the government towards finding solutions to this. But what we would only demand from the government, that is federal government, we don't want the inclusion of state government in what we are doing. Because if we know certain secrets now, if we want to submit a report, they can block it. You know, so if the federal government wants to end this, and they need people like us, and they need our help, we want to be independent. We don't want to be affiliated to any political party. We want to stand independently. When our reports are coming in, they are coming in the way they are. And when federal government releases their reports, definitely, we will also release our own to what? To tally them together to say, yes, originally this is the right report. If we bring in report on somebody, go ahead and do the investigation. Don't favor them because they are from what? A specific political party, or because they are what? They are a senator or commissioner at this or that and all that. Go ahead and do the investigations. We will provide you with everything you need. If the federal government is willing to do that, we are ready to have a sit down. Why not? We go ahead and save our people. We need that, definitely.
Mr. Myla, you know the government would agree. Because there's a reason why state governments exist.
Okay.
There's a reason why state governments exist.
Okay.
So what you're basically saying, you want to destroy the state structure. And you know, if you create a model like that, other people will copy it, you know.
We are not trying to destroy the state structure.
But that's what...
If certain people from the state are involved, and they will not allow us to do our work the right way? You know? Like presently, we have civilian JTF. Civilian JTF presently, I think, the way they maneuver, the masses are complaining that they're being controlled politically. There's a lot of things being controlled politically in certain states that you people do not know, media people don't know, because they block it from coming out. This is the first time you have a Borno state person coming on air, doing certain things, you know, talking about things like this. They don't allow anybody to reach a specific level. They block the person. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to destroy any structure. The truth needs to be, you know, out with full force and all that. Then if I'm to come to present to somebody in the state...
Have you had any conversations with the Borno governor? With Professor Zulum?
Borno governor never got to me because Senator Alidume made sure it did not happen. When I keep saying this, you people should try and see reasons in what I'm saying. You know, ask my locality, ask Southern Borno where he represents. Ask them about Bosia president. What is he doing? What is the problem between him saying Dume? Now you people will find the truth out. Because,
well, I know Senator Ndume will probably get to see this.
He should.
If he sees the Arawa platforms, we'll make sure that he sees it. He has a right of reply to the things that you have said.
He should see that, then reply. Then if it's necessary or if it needs to, it would come to that stage. We will release whatever we have. We don't have anything to hide. Rather than coming out saying Tinubu this, Tinubu that, go and fix your local governments. And now that we know complicity is involved in certain things, the president should do what is needed for our people, please.
The attack that happened yesterday in Askira.
Yes.
The work that was done by our troops in Askira yesterday, because people have to understand, it's not every time that the terrorists win. This one was our troops. Yes. Did you know this Mr. Musa Afashi, the Sudanese that was arrested? Did you know him?
I have seen the reports. I do not know him.
Okay.
You know, they said he is what? He is a suspect. So you cannot confirm 1,000% if he's a terrorist. He might be a business person there.
Captain Goni says he's a terrorist.
He's a terrorist. Okay, so fine. Maybe he's a terrorist. Probably he's somebody gathering information for them around the bushes area and they caught him. Okay. Because presently in that Askira Oba is a place where you can connect to Damboa. Damboa is where, what do they call them, ISWAP come in.
Because of the mountains.
All the attacks you see in Askira, it's been orchestrated by ISWAP, not Boko Haram.
Okay.
Yes.
But they said they also arrested a Ghanaian woman.
Yes.
Mary Florence. Did you know her?
Yeah, of course. I've seen the news and everything, but I don't know her personally. But maybe she might be a businesswoman, you know, and all. That place is a place whereby it connects to a lot of places, so and all. But you seeing a Sudanese person, you know, him looking that way and everything, there's definitely something to suspect. So definitely, maybe the troops are onto something on him. Yeah.
There's some conversation that happened online. Some government officials alleging that there could be complicity with our troops when it comes to insecurity and this terrorism business, because that's what you described to me.
Yes, of course.
It's an economy.
Yes, bigger.
Are there? Do you find that in your conversations in the north?
I think even the army have released certain pictures and videos of some of their people that were compromised, that were given information to terrorists and all that. The army have arrested them directly or indirectly, so the army has confirmed itself. But another thing is, now let me put this clear, the attack in Musa, the attack in Lhasa, this last one, these people came in dressed in forest guard outfits. They came in dressed as soldiers.
Who? The
terrorists came in dressed as forest guard.
In forest guard uniform.
Very clear, well neater than everything, checkpoints were open for them. They went in unopposed. One gunshot was not fired. One gunshot that the only gunshot that rang through the air was theirs when they entered to attack. The time they were supposed to enter, I think the army went for a patrol away or something, so majority were not there. So now when they came in dressed as forest guard. When they came in dressed as forest guard, they came in, they attacked, they divided themselves into two. The other went through the market area where there were women and all that. In that process, they shot a man selling thrift outfits, and all that. Then they kidnapped also some women, which I think the women, some of them regained their freedom because some of them were able to escape. Then now the other part went ahead straight to pick the school children. So the whole plan was create diversion, go this side. So if the military will challenge this side, then we, this other side, will make sure we get the mission done. We pack those children, those school children, and we go with them and everything. So when you say there is complicity to all this and all that and everything, yes, it's clear and clear, Then my problem is now, politicians, if the Nigerian army can stand solid on them being a Nigerian army body, they don't hear about anybody. I can guarantee you people there will be end to insecurity. Because if a politician calls to say, can we say this or can we stage that, and there is billions coming to somebody, it would not happen that way.
Samaila Ibrahim Kaigama, President, Borno South Youth Alliance, BOSIA, and founder and head of operation of Iluhu the Zaman Lafia. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
Well, viewers, if you have not subscribed to YangaLife channel, please click on the subscription button, notification bell, like this video, and don't forget to share it. Share it, let others watch. Well, I am still Chinedu till I come here when next time. I say bye for now.